Hi, it's me again with CorelDraw tips and tricks. Just playing around tonight. Came up with a pretty unique pattern that anybody could draw. Few easy steps. I'm just going to go through them real quick. I've done videos on a six-sided polygon before. I'm going to hit P, put it in the center of the page, and then make a duplicate of it. Control D and hold it down the Shift key to grow it inwardly. Then take this one and hit the plus key on your keyboard and move this node down to that node, and you have this shape. Let's see how big this is. We're going to actually reduce it, and it is a little over. We'll make the nudge factor 6 inches. We'll take the Smart Fill tool, and this is where your artistic ability or creativeness will shine through, because you can do whatever you want to with it. I am going to go ahead and move this out of the way, and I'm going to hit P and put it in the center of the page, which really doesn't matter in this case. And then we're going to just draw basically a 2-point line from like there to somewhere in the middle. Doesn't have to be perfect right now. And then I'm going to Control D and make a duplicate, and I'm going to mirror that one. And then I'm going to grab this one and go right here, and they don't quite touch, so I didn't go quite far enough. So I'm going to take the Shape tool, holding down the Control. Well, that doesn't really work. Let's don't do that. Let's just take let's grab it with the Pick tool and just stretch it. Now we can Control D and make a duplicate and mirror it and put that node right there, and see we got that in the middle. Then you can take your virtual segment delete key and delete that. And you could do more or less, whatever you want to do. And then I'm going to do the same thing, but lower. I'm going to go from the 2-point line. You know what? I'm going to go a little different. I'm only going to go from like right there. Now, the problem with this is we don't have a reference mark to put it anywhere. So let's figure out how we could put a reference mark. I didn't do this in the first one. Let's make it 6 inches long. Let's take a 2-point line and put it right there on that node. And then let's bring it in 2 inches with our nudge factor. So we're going to nudge that over 2 inches is too much. Let's go, let's just go 1 inch. So bring that in, just make a duplicate, bring it in 1 inch, that'll work. So then we could take this same line and put it right there and bring it in 1 inch again. So now we have a reference point or an index point or whatever you want to call it. Let's zoom in a little bit. Let's take a 2-point line and go from that intersection just basically somewhere across the middle. Control D and make a duplicate and then mirror it. And then we can move this node to that reference point. Well, I didn't make a copy. Control D, mirror it, grab that one right there and go to the reference point. And you can see I did good because they're, and you could make, this way I only have 3 cavities or 3 little objects. You could go right in the middle and have, 6. But I think this will be easier like this. We're going to take that blue and move it over. Well, let me change the nudge factor back to like 7. Nudge that over, take the Smart Fill tool, nudge that over. And this is going to be totally different than the one I made earlier. Well, not totally different, but quite a bit different. Now I'm going to grab the top one. I'm going to get the Interactive Fill tool. I'm just going to swipe across, and then I'm going to go up to elliptical, and I'm going to put it in the center, move this to the center, and then move my color outwardly, and see how I got to get that fading. But in this case, I'm going to put a little black in the center. Too much black so we can bring our deal in. We just have a little bit of black. Then on the next one, we'll grab the next one, Interactive Fill tool, swipe across. You don't have to do anything extra special or extra big because you're going to turn it into an ellipse. And then just kind of play. So if you bring this handle up, it brings the color out further. And you kind of want to be kind of in the exact middle. Now on the other one, the last one, we're just going to do interactive fill tool, and we're going to get elliptical, but we're not going to go very far. We're just going to have a little bit of a, we probably want it even, and we can bring it out kind of like, just like a little dot. And this is where you can make it yours. Control G to group it. Control D to duplicate it. Double click on the rotation and put it right on that node. And then we're going to rotate it 120 degrees. Control D. And this would be a good case for a clone. I actually like my first one better, but this will work. Control G to group it. Let's move all this stuff out of the way. And I have found it's kind of easier if we rotate this, I'm going to say 30 degrees and get that flat angle. And you could actually do this mathematically, but we don't need to because it's going to be pretty easy. Control D and make a duplicate. Grab that node and put it right there. And if you get it the first try, you can keep Control D around. Now let's group that together, Control G, and let's rotate it 100, I'm going to say it's going to be like 150 degrees. No. Well, that's 180. Let's just go 90. Yeah, exactly. Now, to me, it's a little bit easier to have it snap to. So this is all grouped together. Control D to make a duplicate, and just grab one of the nodes and snap it right to there. If you get on the first try, then you can Control D all you want. Now, you could change the pattern, do whatever you want to with it from here. Now, this one I put a background. It looks pretty cool just by itself, but because these are separate parts, we can select them all and go right here to create a boundary. I don't have to nudge it out of the way, but I'm going to show you that it's a boundary, and we're going to make that boundary black. I'm going to take away the outline. I'm going to go ahead and go to Object, Order, Back a Page, and then I'm going to nudge it back, and now it's behind there. And you could also even play with that, you know, even more. We still have the black one selected. You could get the interactive fill tool and see how it made it white on the side. Let's go ahead and make it an ellipse and put it here, and you could have all kinds of different looks with that same, it looks pretty cool. I'm going to go back and make it a little bit smaller so the white is just kind of in the middle, and pretty good look. Now, if you wanted to trim it to be at square, you could just put a square box and do that. You know, but if you're going to make it like an endless pattern, you could keep going with this, and you could actually even use that same Control G to group it, Control D to duplicate it, grab that node and put it right there. Well, maybe that isn't going to work. Well, that's right, because the border is only white right there. So that's not going to really work. But that's a cool, and you could, you know, rotate it and get it to be flat. I don't know what the angle would be, maybe 30 degrees. No, it's some other, well, that might be pretty close, but that way you could have it. I don't think it's going to really matter. I kind of like it in this direction. Now, see those little white dots? That's because you've got it selected. If you deselect it and then zoom in, so there's that center triangular part we made with a little bit of a dot on that last one, and that looks pretty cool. I hope that helps somebody a little bit. Thank you for watching.